아, 안녕하세요. Huey입니다. 오늘의 주제는 AI 보안입니다. My name is Huey Ong, and I lead the security organization at Cisco APJC, and I'm really glad to be here. Surrounded by friends, partners, customers. I love the experience. I've been in this role for about 10 months, and my team's telling me to share a bit of a story about my experience with Korea. So I'm going to share a little bit, maybe a little bit more than I should. Actually, I've been to Korea in my role 3 times, but I've been to Olive Young 6 times already. And but that's not the story. I first came to Korea in the 1980s. And in the 1980s, as a tourist from the US, we were in a bus and taken around a lot of the tourist sites. And we went to a demonstration of Korean martial arts. So back in the 80s, it was these strong-looking guys, really fierce-looking, and then they had these black belts, but they were wearing pajamas. And I told my father, I think I can do this. I like to do this. So when we returned back to the US, my father signed me up for a 1-year class, but he told me I cannot quit. So just wanted to share that I did do taekwondo for 30 years. And unfortunately, the only thing that quit was because I had a lot of injuries. I had a concussion, a couple broken bones. I fought a Polish guy who broke my ribs. But if you think about all the challenging things, I really do think that doing security in this age is going to be very challenging. It's going to be exciting, but it's very challenging. And as a voice of the customer, everyone in this room understands that it's challenging to keep up with technology. AI is moving so fast, and then you want to keep up with the demands of the business, the business demands that you keep up. And we saw in the main session about how agents are now proliferating. So you have to keep up. Life cycle management is extremely difficult. We call it painting the Golden Gate Bridge. When you start from one side and you reach the other end, of the end of life, end of support, end of sale, once you finish, you have to restart over again. So the job is never ending. Also, anybody likes patching here? Patching? Keeping up with CVEs, keeping up with incidents, that is also never ending. And then complexity is the enemy of reliability. You have to juggle regulations, uptime, and resilience. This is our section, right? Resilience. So skills and experience are hard to find. And that's why partnerships are more important than ever. And I'm so happy to see all the booths, all the partners doing all the innovation. So I really thank you for those who are here. So on top of everything now, you have AIs, which is a priority, and the responsibility now falls back on you, back on us as security professionals to keep up. So in my 10 months here, we're now looking at the second evolution of AI, which is taking chatbots and intelligent conversation, getting answers back, very human-like, into AI agents that now can make decisions. They can perform tasks, whatever it means to perform your tasks, and then take action on behalf. And that is scary because what happens is the threat landscape has now shifted. It's shifting towards where the attack surface has kind of grown across. So we need a way to define how trust, how identity, and how action is taken is a new response and is a new paradigm of how we approach it. And Cisco has had a long-standing commitment to security. We've been doing security for a long time. Security is baked into our product, as Ben Dawson was talking about. And at RSA, about 2 weeks ago, some of you may have been there at RSA, there have been some new product enhancements and new announcements and feature releases that takes care of what we call identity intelligence. And we have a booth out there. So we're looking at agentic IAM, which is identity and access management very differently. Zero trust for agents, because we have to now look at human agents and artificial agents. And then we're also looking at safeguards against open claw, nano claw, iron claw, whatever claws will be coming out. And another offering we call AI defense, which I'll talk briefly about. Okay? Okay, here's the persona of the agent. So we met with a customer at RSA that were saying that they want to launch 1 million agents into their environment. This is a private enterprise that wants to have 1 million agents to do the task. But let's talk about the persona of agents. Humans, we have a broad scope. Take myself, for example. Maybe I can, I can teach at the dojang if I want to, which I did. I can paint, I can drive. But humans take time to learn and to develop. And then our speed is very slow. I need rest. We need sleep. And then our scale is quite limited because I can do some damage, but it's quite limited. But one thing different about humans and human workers is that we have some conscience, we have judgment, we have some fear of consequence, but most of all, we have logical sense. So decisions are made based on that. When it comes to machines, machines can operate very fast because they have limited instructions, but they can operate very fast, and they have limited scope. So they do one thing really quick and really fast. And moderate because you can scale machines out. But when I say that the agents now have the worst of both worlds, what it means is it's got a broad scope. It can learn really quick. Whatever job, whatever language model that you pull into it, it's already known the job. It can do it very fast, but it has no consequence. It will do whatever it takes to do the job. For example, if I am a owner of a OpenClaw environment and I say, go to this repository, go to Hugging Face, download this code, and run to execute against it. How would I know that this claw is not using my credentials going to take and go into production and merge the code? So there are a lot of limitations and unknowns out there that we still have to kind of figure out. So that lies the subject that we're going to talk about today. Okay, Cisco Talos is our threat and intelligence response organization. And within Cisco Talos, we observe 900 billion security events a day. And that's increasing. It's actually 886 billion, so it's getting close to 900. And Talos is sampling 2,000 malwares per minute. So there's a lot of malware out there that's being sampled, right? So when a CVE is released, so CVE is called a common vulnerability exposure. Most of you, security professionals, Chrome just released the fourth critical Chrome critical this year. So there's tons of it out there. And when a CVE is released in the open, or at least when it's published, there's a measurement called TTE, time to exploit, meaning that it's a turnaround time when a CVE is released when the attack begins. So in 2021, just 5 years ago, the time to exploit was 30 days. 2 years ago, it was under 5 days. CISA, which is the equivalent of KISA, which is the cybersecurity organization for the US, thank you, John, estimates that 50% of the exploits now carry an average of 0 to 2 days. That means it's 0 days here. Maybe it's minus days, but it's 0 days here. We have some customers in APJC that has observed that attacks begin after a CV release in under 20 minutes. So this is a whole new level of exploits. Phishing, reconnaissance, malware that's being put, and it's running at machine scale. So what are we going to do about it? And this is my slide talking about the threat landscape that continues to increase. But this is really just the beginning. A lot of the surveys were done prior to the agentic OpenClaw release. And this may be something I think that was shown by Ben or earlier in the main keynote, is that Cisco conducts something called a AI Readiness Index. And this is a survey of Korea customers, over 200 AI security cyber professionals. And what it does show us is that almost about three quarters of of those surveyed say that they want and plan to have an AI agent in their environment, but yet about 12% of them say that they are ready to, to secure them. They have the ability to secure them. And about 13% do say that they have no ability to detect, no ability to prevent. And this is just a small sample size, but it holds true. And when I say the agentic era has begun in November 2025, when OpenClaw proliferated, this puts the tool out into everyone's hands. So this is a survey, a global survey done by over, I think 200, it says 224 for the fine print, but cyber and IT executives that say that within their environment, they have 85% of their organizations already have some kind of pre-pilot, pre-production AI agents ready to go. And the use cases will be IT operations, security operations, and customer-facing, customer support. But what happens is only 5% makes it across. So this is what we call the agent trust gap, because what they're concerned about is the agent access for the access controls, data exfiltration, meaning data leakage. You don't know where data is going to move and be taken outside, as well as unpredictable autonomy, which is really the behavior of the agents. Most of you have read, there's all sorts of stories about agents that's kind of running rogue, but imagine that. And AI agents need access to your systems, right? If you look at how they're connecting to your agents, from agent to resources, via API, via CLI, but the growing and open standard is called MCP, which is the Model Context Protocol. So it acts as a bridge. It's a model between server and client, and what it does is it connects you to connects the agents to external tools, repositories, data sources, acts as a bridge. But what it does is it creates a very distinct and large attack surface, right? So what happens? Imagine if your agents are compromised or MCP servers are compromised, indirect prompt injections, hidden instructions, remote code execution, and the most popular one, I would say, is site scraping. So you may have agents that's collecting data, and because of unpersisted, what we call is unauthorized access. Given the access, but there's no time frame to it. So we need to reimagine the security for the agentic workforce. So these are going to be your digital coworkers. Some of you will be a supervisor to your digital employees. I mean, that is where we're headed, right? And okay, I know security is a very serious topic, but we have to look at the steps to take. And if you look at taking a step from low friction to high value platform adoption, the first step is knowing your AI risks, which is addressing the immediate need on what's running in your network. Are these sanctioned AI agents, unsanctioned AI agents, rogue agents, shadow AI that's operating in the environment? Secondly is securing the AI agent. The credentials are all, they served its purpose, but you have to replace your previous generation static credentials with strong, what we call is centrally managed and modern authentication and authorization methods, right? The old AAA, authentication, authorization, and counting, that still applies, right? And the third one is controlling access. Controlling access meaning that authorization, allowing agents to get into only the data that they need to get to for only a certain time. And this is enforcing least privilege and also context-aware, knowing that where your agents are moving. And the last step would be governance, so safety and trust of AI agents. So I don't know about a show of hands, but is anyone probably at, I would say we are all probably at stage 1 and stage 2, kind of discovering where your agents are and trying to figure a way how we can secure. If anyone here is at stage 4, that you already done all that, please come see me because I will make sure that you're on the next Cisco Connect so you can be up here to tell us how we did it. But I don't think we're there yet. But it's a journey. And to discover, secure, control, and govern, we have a framework, and we call it the workforce. So workforce taking humans, non-humans, things, devices into their workloads. The workloads, AI workloads, could be modern workloads that sit in the cloud, sit in on-prem, sit at the edge, into the workplace. So the workplace, as you know, is your home, your office, factory floor, retailer, hospital. So the connectivity that ties between the workforce workload and the workplace moves at ludicrous speed. Ludicrous meaning crazy speed, right? And attack surfaces are now across, right? So that's why security has to be hyper-distributed. You can't have it enforcement at one point. So the concept of firewalling is still there, but in the age of agentic AI, you cannot have your firewalls everywhere. So Cisco is infusing security into every layer of the infrastructure. So user credential, workload protection, and then connectivity. So those are the points that I like to make, and that's a key point because Cisco is the one that can do it all across. Okay? Workplace, workload, workforce. So these are core solutions in place. So Duo IAM has evolved, and this is ensuring the identity and trust of agents, right? And then secure access is our SSC solution that allows connectivity, secure connectivity to any workload, any workplace. And lastly, AI defense, which is, I'm going to go a little bit more deeper in a little bit, is about discovery, detection, and protection with AI models. Now, AI models today would would be sitting in your data center. It could be sitting at the edge in the future with small language models. But there's also a threat of safeguarding your AI supply chain. Anything that you download, we are able to provide either a trust score or, I would say, trustworthiness of some of these applications because the tooling set has also been compromised today. Anything that you download on AI tools, I can't remember the name, but there is some kind of ransomware that occurs. And very important is the telemetry, right? Taking all the machine data, telemetry, into a single data plane with Splunk. And the purpose is to take that into insights so that you can correlate the data, detect breaches, and respond quicker in real time. Okay, so the zero trust principle still applies even more for AI agents. And at every level it comes to, as I mentioned, knowing the agent, authorizing the agent, and then adapting to the risk in real time. So we need to have visibility. You have to authorize the action, I guess, and then adapt it to it in real time because just because it's authorized doesn't mean that it's safe. So it has to be continuous. And I'll go into each one. So knowing every agent, today most organizations really can still answer the one basic question is that what agents are operating in my environment. So Duo, which is our agentic identity and access management, we're going through a phase to address that. So tool discovery, so how agents are now interacting with your modern enterprise. So that's the tool and agent discovery. Agent directory allows a system of records for accounting on all the connectivity, as well as access policy, which defines authorization levels. Right? Authorization levels, what an agent is able to do, human or non-human. Everyone talks about human in the loop. So human accountability is a feature that's being put in because I, as a human, will be attached to 10,000 agents. And what happens is every agent that's an AI or agentic agent will now be looped and accountable for for whatever the agents are there. So there is going to be just not free access, but maybe push controls or however you want to define it, grouping into a system that allows traceability back to a human owner. And the last piece is life cycle. I know we talk about life cycle, but agents need to retire as well and keeping up with agents. So there is a classification that allows you to be able to classify creation, updates, patching, and retirement of agents. Okay, and that was the identity part. The second piece is the zero trust aspect, and this is very important because connectivity is what the agents want to do. And this is where Cisco differentiates from any other solution, because there is a tight integration between dual IAM and secure access. So I'll share with you how that works. Dual understands the nature of identity and transactions, so short-lived token exchange, behavior patterns, logging patterns, authorization patterns. So SSE is the enforcer. So as SSE comes in the picture, it has capabilities like firewall as a service, DLP, remote browser, because they will be coming in through remote browsing anyway, or through any type of browser exploit, IPS level, and API security. So by enforcing it at the boundary, at the agent level, at the MCP level, we ensure that the action is consistent. So you have the traffic blocked there, and then it cannot be bypassed. Okay, and we talk about authorization levels, so just keeping the timers on just enough. I think there will be technical sessions that can go a lot deeper into this. Okay, and the third pillar is AI defense. And AI defense, so this is the discovery, detection, and runtime protection of your models that reside probably in your data center, in the cloud, or wherever you may want to put it. So it's monitoring the use of public AI. It has view into shadow AI and any models that's running in your system. Detecting is an interesting one because it detects vulnerabilities, and you can, red team, scan for flaws, run a model through an implementation, and see if sensitive data is being exfiltrated or it's been having the right connection. And the last piece is runtime protection. So runtime protection, because it monitors in real time connectivity and inside or outside of threats. But when you combine identity with secure access and AI defense, that is the system that you can either keep trust scores, recognize traffic pattern, do the enforcement, and that's the way that we like to say that when all three come and our products come together, magic happens. I'll let the animation play out a little bit, but yes, threat context. So we're talking about intention. In intent-based traffic flows, behavioral context, velocity of logins, geolocation, all of those taken into an AI model to be able to separate what is a threat or what is not. Okay, and this is how we bring it together. Taking managed devices, things, printers, people. So now what's different is it's a context-aware, identity-aware connection that takes you to any application, whether it's legacy applications, private applications, SaaS applications, traditional VPN applications, or your MCP servers. So what is the platform advantage, right? There was I think Bill Gardner talked about on the main session about the single plane of management. So to be unified is something that Cisco's been working on. And this is the single point of management for all your policies that you can enforce across our portfolio, whether it's secure routers, smart switches, firewalls, third-party firewalls, secure access agents. Single plane of management, which is unified. Bringing everything into a data fabric, which is Splunk, to help you correlate the data, detect breaches faster. And then a single segmentation story, because the network is still very important. In your AI infrastructure, and I guess modeling that's being launched, the network still remains the key part, because without the right network, all your other investments will fail. I want to share a little bit about what we're doing on the agentic ops side. So our products, especially on the security and the cyber security cloud control, we're looking at agentic ops and AI assist. So these are policies that build in optimization, troubleshooting, reducing human errors, as well as optimization configurations, especially when there is a trouble ticket. When you do call into TAC, a lot of it is already, I guess, AI assist to kind of help you narrow down what the root cause might be. And then security for AI is protecting the models. We talk about the life cycle of AI applications and detecting and monitoring your AI infrastructure. Being open by design, we understand that a lot of our infrastructure operates on a flexible and heterogeneous environment, right? And there's a lot of third-party, multi-vendor support needed. I'll just touch this briefly because there's a lot of new announcements coming out. One of them being Glasswing with Anthropic. But this is Cisco's first. And Cisco released probably about maybe less than a year ago, Foundation AI, which is our security large language model, 8 billion parameter. It operates as a security model that you can take into your SOC for your analysts or for CISOs and CIOs as for governance. But what it is it's every report, every CVE, every incident, every security framework has been fed into this model, and this model is available at Hugging Face. So you can take it, contribute to it, and use it in your SOC, use it as as aid to your security analyst or so. But I think I'm reaching the end of my presentation. I'm going to show a video. When I used to come on stage in my dobok, I used to break stuff, but I won't be doing that this time because I think I had enough concussion. But here's the video.
Agentic AI is already transforming your organization, opening up new opportunities and new risks. Risks that traditional human-centric security frameworks were not built to handle. In a threat landscape that now includes not just thousands of human employees operating at human speed, but millions of autonomous AI agents operating at machine speed. So now, in order to seize those opportunities successfully, you need a unified security and management approach that empowers you to track all those identities, control what they access, and set safeguards for how they behave. How do you meet all these needs? By extending zero trust principles to agentic AI with Cisco. Because it's only when you have end-to-end security controls across identity, access, and behavior that you can unlock agent visibility and identity management, so you can discover, monitor, and manage non-human identities of agents, mapping them back to accountable humans. Granular access control, so you can deploy fine-grained access policies based on identity-aware context to provide least privileged, time-bound access to agents. And real-time behavioral monitoring, so you can establish safety and security guardrails during runtime and prevent unsafe or unintended actions. Security and identity fused seamlessly into the network, securing agentic AI operations end-to-end. So all those opportunities you're now seizing, at high speed and massive scale, you can be confident you're seizing securely. Integrated, unified, and secure by design. That's zero trust for agentic AI from Cisco.
And I have one final slide, and you may have seen this before. Cisco is a critical infrastructure for the AI era, so the real value comes when you put the power of the portfolio together. AI-ready data centers, a very topic that we'll be speaking about. It transforms your data center, whether it's traditional, modern workloads, anywhere, and then creating future-proof workplaces, because we will soon be defining how humans and non-humans will work together. And lastly is digital resilience, right? Keeping your businesses running in the face of disruption and all the threats that's going on. So I want to thank everyone for being here. 감사합니다. And thank you, and more sessions to follow.